The Washington Post decided that they wanted to find out why Elon Musk has such an aversion to diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, DEI. After all, the Trump administration has made it their crusade to get rid of DEI anywhere and everywhere that they can, and Elon Musk is, of course, one of the most outspoken members of the administration that seems to hate it. So the Washington Post decided, we're going to go to the source, not Elon Musk. We're going to go ask his daddy why his son seems to hate these programs. Is there a touch of racism here? Like, what's going on? So the Washington Post reached out to Elon Musk, Elon's dad, to ask, like, hey, anything maybe in his history that would indicate why he doesn't like programs that promote racial diversity? And Elon Musk did respond, said, no, my son is totally not racist, because he can't be racist because he used to be friends with a lot of the black servants that we had. Here is the official statement that Elon Musk sent to the Washington Post about both Elon and his brother, apparently. They were not into political nonsense, and we lived in a very well-run, law-abiding country with virtually no crime at all. Actually, no crime. We had several black servants who were their friends. So Elon Musk can't be racist because he was friends with the black servants we had. Well, I guess that settles that, right? I mean, holy crap. All you had to do, Errol, was not make things worse. Like, you weren't going to make them better, but all you had to do was not make them worse, and you couldn't even do that. Like, your statement is so much worse. Not to mention the fact that you're sitting there like, hey, we had a great law-abiding country. Nobody ever committed a crime. It was apartheid, dude. It was apartheid. Like, you couldn't walk on the same side of the street. Interracial marriages were effectively banned. It was one of the most racially segregated countries ever. And you're like, hey, things were great. I mean, we had no complaints. We'd let the black folk in to come clean the house every now and then. Jesus Christ. What a horrible, horrible thing to say. And apparently a horrible thing to seemingly enjoy. But then the Washington Post decided, okay, we're kind of pumping a dry well here. Let's go talk to somebody else. So they found a guy who is now a biomedical scientist. He actually went to high school with Elon Musk, knew him pretty well. So this guy, Rudolph Pianar, said, quote, we grew up in a bubble of entitlement. I am not sure if Elon can conceive of systematic discrimination and struggle because that's not his experience. His life now, in some ways, is how it was under apartheid, rich and entitled with the entire society built to sustain him and his ilk. Now, that does explain a lot, right? Rich and entitled. You don't have to see all of the horrible things happening because you are protected in your bubble. But at the same time, your bubble does apparently get penetrated because, as your dad mentioned, you had, quote, black servants. So you knew that there was some kind of racial disparity that also translated to class disparity. You just what? Couldn't get it through your skull? You couldn't figure out why that was? You didn't understand what was happening? I don't know. That one I do want a little bit more of an answer to, but I do agree that the entitlement bubble is what Elon Musk has lived his entire life in. Never had to worry about anything. Never had to experience any kind of hardship or even deal with people who had to experience any kind of hardship. And life experience does, in fact, matter. Donald Trump is the same way. So we basically have these two eccentric billionaires running the country that have never had to step foot outside of their golden palace thinking they know what's best for everybody. When you grow up in an experience like that, when you live your entire life in that bubble, there is no way in hell you can actually rule and legislate on behalf of people who are struggling. Because struggle is not something you understand. It is not something you've ever had to experience or even see close up. That is the problem, the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems with this administration. The two men in their ivory towers looking down on the rest of us thinking, why are you not happy about all that we are doing? Why do you think there is racism? We got no racism right here immediately in front of us, so clearly it doesn't exist. Yeah,